In this video, I will introduce some basic organization for your application. We will start very simple. Previous videos have just been a single main method or start method. That won't scale. In large applications, you will have many classes and you need some kind of organization. A classic approach is separation by responsibility. We group classes which do similar things together in packages. For the simplest apps, we can define three responsibilities: the startup, the presentation, and the persistence, or data management. The presentation will contain UI-specific code, so that's all the classes which set up JavaFX UI elements, define the behavior triggered by UI events, and shows data to the user. The data management contains the data. In this video, that will just be a couple of strings in a list. In larger projects, you should probably save your data to a file or a database. Later, we can expand with more categories or layers when the complexity of the systems we build require it. But let's start simple. I have my new module ready, and I start by defining my areas of responsibility. First, a presentation package for the UI stuff, then a persistence package for the data, and then the startup, which is just a class. This class will extend application and override the start method, as we have seen before. But the instantiation of UI elements, setting up layouts and so on, that will belong to a class in the presentation package. My start method will just do the bare minimum to get the app running. Okay, let's start with the simplest first. I think that's the class holding the data. I will create a new class in the persistence package, call it Data Manager. It manages the data of the application. In this class, I add a field of type list to hold strings. So my data will just be strings, no fancy objects this time. And I add a method which takes a string and adds it to the list. I will also just add a method to get the strings. Maybe I can show them in a label or something simple for now. Other UI elements will be better to show the contents of a list, but I have not introduced those, and it's not the focus of this video. So that's the data manager. Let me just head over to the run app class and create a new data manager object, just so it's ready for future use. And next, let's focus our attention on the presentation layer. That requires a class to create the UI elements and set up event reactions. I will add a new class, simply calling it UI. This class needs access to a data manager, so let me just create a field for this and a constructor so I can get an instance of the data manager. Then I will add a method called show, which requires a stage. This method is used to set up my view. I want a text field and a button to take the content from the text field and pass on to the data manager. So I add my action. I don't care about the event type, so using discard here, then the lambda arrow. Next, adding the text from the text field to the data manager here, and then clearing the text field. And finally, I would also like to display the data. I will just show the content of the list in a label. That will be this label here. Next, a button, and when clicking the button I will do some magic. You don't have to concern yourself with this next line, it's just a simple way of putting strings together. I get the strings from the data manager. I use the collect method here to join all the strings together, separating them with the new line character. This will make one string out of the contents of the list, each element on a new line. You will see in a moment. I just need to put that resulting string into the label here. Now I need my pane. Let's go with a VBox again, containing all the UI elements. And a scene containing the VBox. Then putting the scene onto the stage. And finally setting the dimensions of the window and actually showing it here at the end. That's it. Now everything related to this particular view or page or whatever you want to call it is contained in one class. Later I will show applications with multiple views you can swap between, and each view will be defined in its own class, somewhat similar to this class here. Wonderful. Let's head back to the start method. create a new UI object, and then call show. That's it. The structure is in place. I have a package for UI related stuff or presentation. There is a package for data management or persistence. And my startup class, the run app here, does very little other than just instantiating a few things. Let's run it and add a few strings. And let's check the display of the data. Absolutely beautiful. That's it. Thanks for watching.